can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
You are listening to Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार के क्रिप्टो आवर को, जिसके प्रस्तुत करता है Helium.com.
Hey, everybody, my name is Carlos Matos, and I am coming from New York City, New York. Let me tell you guys that I am so excited, I am so happy, I am really so thrilled to be right now sharing this amazing, glorious, super, and exciting moment of my life with all of you guys. And let me tell you that we are really changing the world as we know it. The world is not anymore the way it used to be. No. Be
FM. We've been talking about some of the biggest Twitter scams in the crypto industry. So, of course, we had to give a little hat tip to one of the biggest scams in the crypto industry. Tom, you can hear that now, huh? Oh, that's right. Tom left for a minute. Anyway, so this is Will Coley with Call to Freedom here, and we've been talking to you about some of the biggest scams on Twitter in the crypto space. And, one of them that we had just gotten to was about, getting personal. It says here, another way scammers whose accounts generally only have a couple followers and whose only tweets are the ones about the giveaway. They're trying to trick users by creating more personal accounts. For instance, a Twitter user named Dennis Parker was recently impersonated. The account copied and pasted his name and picture, but the bio was very different. Whereas Dennis Parker's bio just says, Bitcoin maximalist. Well, the scam account, which was still active at the time of this writing, says, foodie, editor, water protector, wine connoisseur, unwashed mass. I own 25 hula hoops. As Parker tweeted, my scam accounts are getting kind of personal. Not only that, but scammers have also gone to other links to try and bilk users out of their crypto. Notable venture capital investor Tim Draper tweeted about one of his impersonators asking his followers for funds in exchange for mining Bitcoin for them. The best, my personal favorite, is scammers that call out scams. Most people in the crypto scene know Neeraj Agrawal, the communications lead for the Washington-based lobbying group Coin Center. Well, lesser known is, he's a meme god on crypto Twitter. Lesser known is Neeraj K. Agrawal 7, who recently replied to an offering of Ethereum with one word: scam. While that might not seem particularly surprising, what's absurd is that response came from one of Agrawal's imposters, not Agrawal himself. As Agrawal tweeted, my Ether scammer, he's calling out other Ether scammers. Waves Platform, a fake Waves Platform account, posted it's time, it's a limited time, and it will last as long as the Ether is left in the prize pool. You can use an exchange or any wallet. 4,040 Ethereum left. If you're late for this event, you'll get your Ether back immediately. Don't miss your chance. You can take up to 1,000 Ether per transaction, but only once for one address. To which
again, if you actually have 100 Ether,
you should know.
Around, you shouldn't be this stupid. What is 100 Ether right now? That's over $30,000.
In a similar instance, an account posing as our good friend at the show here, Bruce Fenton. He's a thought leader and an investor in the cryptocurrency space who founded the Satoshi Roundtable, commented with its own crypto giveaway on the giveaway post from a fake Mad Bitcoins account. Speaking to the event, Mad Bitcoins retweeted, "It's a beautiful cycle of spam, Twitter, and you should make it stop." Also, it turns out there are a lot of Charlie Shrems. As said before, many of the most acclaimed people in the cryptocurrency space deal with an insane amount of scam accounts. Case in point, Charlie Shrem, founder of the now defunct early Bitcoin exchange BitInstant, and now an advisor for several blockchain projects. He tweeted recently about all the scam accounts under his name that, "I do give away stuff from time to time, but I will never ask you to send me something first. Well, except for your address so that I can send it to you." Duh. The tweet was accompanied by images which display just how rampant the scam accounts have become. Let's see here. He just posts the list of people who say they're Charlie Shrem, but if you look at the it's actually somebody totally different. Another crypto character that gets impersonated quite a bit is John McAfee, who's become famous after launching the popular antivirus software and is now promoting ICOs on Twitter, allegedly for a fee. Yet many crypto enthusiasts might not sympathize with McAfee since they see his new job as dubious. In fact, McAfee's latest ICO promoting tweet featured Pink Taxi Coin, a dubious ICO project with a plagiarized white paper and website, among other glaring red flags. And last but not least is the "I've made it" scam. See, while these impersonators have become a scourge on crypto Twitter, some have taken to joking about how having a scammer impersonate them is a way to display that they're popular. A prominent parody account in the space, Swift on Security, said, after a fraudster impersonated the account, "I've made it. I finally made it." As such, Kevin Pham, who became a staple of crypto Twitter this year, tweeted after being impersonated, "Screw blue checks. Having a scam account is the free market signaling that you're a somebody on crypto Twitter," which was immediately followed up by a fake Kevin Pham tweet stating, "Did you hear about our Bitfinex giveaway? To celebrate partnership between Bitfinex and EOS Finex, we're going to give away a total of 1 Bitcoin, 15 ETAN, 10 Litecoin. Hurry up before it ends. Bitfinex.eu/giveaway-H." To which was again immediately responded, "Hey, Kevin, yeah, you've got a scammer."
Which he was proud of. Acceptance, a little annoying.
I just think it's funny. Like, "Hey, I've made it." Having somebody impersonate you shows that you've made it. And the response is for tons of impersonators to come and try to scam your fan base out of money. Like I said, this outro bumper is so pertinent for so many situations. We'll be back here with more from the crypto scene on the Call to Freedom in just a moment.
The captain, strangest I can find, laid my proposition down, laid it on the...
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The zebra of the plains is perpetually hunted by a myriad of merciless predators. With no purpose other than to feed monsters, the zebra spends its entire life standing around awaiting a violent death. They are nature's ultimate prey. The zebra paces the earth, patiently going through the motions of life, knowing that at any moment it will end in a sudden shock of pain and brutality. With its black and white stripes serving as an ostentatious beacon to any nearby predators, the zebra whiles away its time before gruesome elimination. Zebra wait on the pantry shelf that is the African plain before something finds it and, at last, remembers to eat it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom, brought to you by Helium.com. Unasikiliza Crypto Hour inayohusu wito wa uhuru, imeletwa kwako na Helium.com.
Back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're about halfway through our crypto hour here on the Call to Freedom. And, well, we were going to move on and do a little bit of tech talk. Unfortunately, we don't have Chris here for this, but we do have a little bit of a gearhead in our legal mind, Mr. Tom Gray. And, well, it's about the new Asus mining motherboard. Asus is a computer company that I actually am particularly fond of, but they have a new motherboard that has space for 20 GPUs. Now, computer
Because
hardware
19 GPUs just ain't enough.
computer hardware giant Asus has debuted a new product aimed specifically at crypto miners. The H370 Mining Master. It represents a follow-up to last year's B250 Mining Expert, with Asus saying that it's, quote, redefined the formula for a second generation of crypto-related products. The Mining Master notably boasts the ability to support a total of 20 graphics cards. Now, as of press time, it's not clear how much the company is actually going to charge for the motherboard or when exactly it's going to be released. That said, Asus indicated that the hardware will be available sometime in the third quarter of this year. Asus is planning to showcase its self-proclaimed blockchain behemoth during the Computex 2018 event in Taiwan next week. Other elements of the Mining Expert include a built-in monitoring system that allows users to keep track of the status of the 20 graphics cards plugged into it. That sounds nice. Less time maintaining your machine means more time mining with it, which is why the H370 Mining Master includes a suite of diagnostic features designed to make your platform easier to manage. I'm so buying one of these. Asus wrote in an announcement post on Wednesday.
They didn't write, we're totally buying one of these. That's something Will said. And I'm totally buying one of these too.
For real. Asus is one of a growing number of hardware companies looking to capture some of the interest coming from the market of power-hungry crypto miners.
You've got our interest.
Right? ASR rock. I'm sorry. I saw the word rock and was like, yeah, rock hard for some 20 GPU mining software hardware.
AS Rock, if you're not familiar, is another computer hardware company that is of a lower tier than Asus is generally considered. Asus is considered one of the best motherboard manufacturers on the planet, as long as you don't need their customer service.
Right.
At least their English language customer service.
AS Rock is another maker of motherboards, and they're also moving similar products to the market. And GPU makers AMD and NVIDIA have both seen, a handsome increase to the bottom lines thanks to the demand from miners and graphic cards, albeit to the chagrin of gamers.
Well, gamers will be fine. All right, just chill. There's plenty. I mean, if you are really hard up as a gamer for a motherboard, then let's get one that runs one GPU. There's a ton of them out there that miners don't really have any interest or use in. So people may be wondering, though, what does a motherboard that runs 20 GPUs look like? And when I first saw the photo of this, I said to Will, oh, there's the rub. Because the way that it is laid out is actually, it has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5x4 block of USB 3.1 headers. Now, normally, when you're attaching a graphics card to a motherboard, you're using a PCIe header, one of the long black ones that's got a little slot and then a long big slot. The USB headers just look like the USB 3.1 headers you'd find in your normal laptop that you plug your mouse into or your keyboard. But if you click on over to Asus's own website, they actually explain what this does. It says here, mining is a numbers game. It's only worthwhile if the value of the cryptocurrency you generate exceeds the cost of producing it. Increasing the number of graphics card per node is a great way to stack the deck in your favor. Typical mining setups feature a common PCIe riser design, with each graphics card being connected via a PCIe X1 link, they go up to X16, routed over a USB 3.1. In other words, behind that PCIe link is a USB header, and it's just that they put the PCIe on there because it's a cheaper header. The what was I? Right over. The risers are typically made up of 3 pieces: the X16 slot that hosts the GPU, the X1 card that plugs into the motherboard, and the USB cable that connects them. The H370 greatly simplifies this chain by replacing the X1 slots with a bank of PCI over USB ports that let riser cables plug directly into the motherboard. This connection is sturdier than using a PCIe card, true, with a less chance of inadvertent disconnects, and it reduces the total number of parts in your mining rig. And as anybody who builds PCs will tell you, fewer parts means fewer points of failure, and it also means less heat. Yum, 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 yum. The fact that they're using USB 3.1 headers also makes it easier to diagnose problems with individual cards, because all of the diagnostics are contained right there in the same header that you're connecting directly to the motherboard with. So chief among them is GPU state detection, which scans the system at boot and indicates whether each port riser is empty, connected to a functional graphics card, or experiencing problems. And then each riser has individual debug lights. So like there's a visual indicator for every single one of your graphics cards, so you're not having to search and you're not having to do calculus to figure out which PCI connection your computer is referring to versus the hardware connection. You can look right at it, and there will be a little red light that says, this is the bad one, go fix this one. It's super neat. Now,
I want one!
Yeah, I want one too. Now, the problem is, you want one of these, and then you gotta get not just 20 graphics cards, you gotta get 20 graphics cards that have a direct USB 3.1 connection built into them. Which, yeah.
Asus is also going to be debuting.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Because why wouldn't they? If you're gonna make something this awesome, you've got to, you gotta do it. You gotta have something that plugs into it. And then, oh geez, in addition to the 20 USB ports over PCIe, it's also got 6 normal USB 3.1 headers and 4 USB 2.0 headers and a regular PCIe X16 slot for the one graphics card you're using to run monitors. And it runs DDR4 memory up to 2666 megahertz. Daggum!
Right.
Made for 8th gen Intel processors. So, sorry.
I want one.
Yeah.
Anyway, when we get back, we're going to talk about why this new this new processor is going to be really cool for people in Canada. We'll talk about why when we get back.
Canada.
Well, Quebec is in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying, Canada, Will?
Yes.
You should listen to see what Will has to say about Canada.
He's probably not very nice.
This time it is.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, on the call to freedom on LRN.fm. أنتم تستمعون إلى The Crypto Hour. يقدم إليكم برعاية Helium.com على برنامج نداء للحرية على LRN.fm.
Welcome back here to the third hour of our Wednesday afternoon drive home live broadcast today of the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And it's been, oh wait, I'm wrong. It is not time for the third hour. We are still in I'm lost.
I thought you said you slept more last night.
I'm trying to write up the proposal for this new, I fired that guy that made those intros for us. The one that I played on air Monday, I fired him. And I'm trying to write a proposal to the new guy and possibly hire him. And in the midst of that, my brain is just not, normally I can do like 2 or 3 things at once. It's just not happening today. Or probably any other day till mid-June. I should probably just quit trying.
What happens in mid-June, Will? Anything we want to promote?
Ramadan will be over.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we don't have to promote the end of your high holy holiday. I thought you were talking about like Porkfest or something.
No, though we will be marking Eid at Forkfest and Porkfest this year. Ramadan will be over, so I won't be brain dead from about 2 in the afternoon until 8:25 p.m., I think. Something like that. Yep, something like that. Anyway, we were talking, 2 hours and 29 minutes from now. So we were talking about this Boss new 20-card miner from Asus. Well, why would that be cool for folks in Quebec? Well, according to Le Journal de Montréal, Québécois...
You almost got that right.
What is it?
Le Journal de Montréal.
I'm talking about the other word. My wife speaks French, but I don't know how to say Quebec in French. Anyway, the government of Quebec will lift its ban on the sale of electricity to cryptocurrency miners, which has been in place since March of this year. Instead, Quebec is looking for a more measured relationship with the mining companies that have fled to Canada's second most populous province in search of cheap electricity. Quebec is blessed with a supply of low-cost electricity thanks to Hydro-Quebec, Quebec's network of 63 hydroelectric power stations. This and the crackdown on cryptocurrency mining in China has attracted a steady flow of would-be Bitcoin miners. Unfortunately, the demand for electricity wasn't sustainable. Earlier this month, a Hydro-Quebec spokesperson told the CBC that the crypto mining scene was using around a quarter of its capacity.
Like all of Quebec, or just this town?
In order to protect other homes and businesses on the network, Hydro-Quebec suspended all new applications from crypto miners, as well as an additional requests for power. The new regulation lifts this moratorium and instead seeks to work with these companies. How much you want to bet taxes are in this somewhere? Crypto miners will get their electricity, but there's a small caveat. During peak times, Hydro-Quebec is permitted to do forced load shedding. This means it will simply cut power during 100 to 300 hours per year when the Quebec power grid is simply stretched to capacity. This deal makes sense for a couple of reasons. First, crypto mining is good for the economy. If a new data center opens, it creates jobs, not just for those who operate it, but also for those who build it. By playing nice with miners, Quebec has positioned itself as the epicenter of a brand new industry right at the beginning. But it has ensured that this doesn't come at the expense of homes and other businesses. But also, Quebec produces more electricity than it can reasonably use. The province is a bit of an oddity insofar as it's a net exporter of electricity. It, for example, provides New England with a huge chunk of its electricity needs. Doesn't it make more sense that electricity to be used on an economic activity within Quebec? And finally, there's a big environmental plus. Quebec's power generation is almost entirely based on renewable sources of energy. Given the choice, I'd rather see Bitcoin come from clean emission-free energy. Wouldn't you? So
sure. Disembodied voice in the article.
Right. So, Quebec becoming the new China.
Except without all of the nasty spying, we hope. I mean, for a relatively socialist country, Canada does seem to leave its citizens alone a little bit more than some of the alternatives, you know.
No disappearing campaigns, you mean?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, not yet at least. Not yet. So I called it. I mean, I got it wrong, but I called it. I knew.
I got it wrong, but I called.
Well, no, I knew. I said, look, when what country they go to, I was wrong. But I knew this was going to happen. When China started cracking down, mining wasn't going to stop. Mining's not going to stop. Duh. Come on. Have a brain, people. But what happened was China effectively chased an entire industry out of their country. I thought it was going to be Egypt because it's closer physically. But I was wrong. I thought it was going to be Egypt.
Yeah, because Egypt started cracking down in their own way, didn't they?
Yes.
On the crypto community.
It did. It did. Quebec did too, though. But, when Quebec cracks down, it doesn't usually do it with billy clubs unless the G20 is in town.
We probably would have heard about it if what happened in Egypt was happening in Quebec, because it was human rights violations all over the place. With in Egypt anyway, where they were just. I remember we talked about the story on the air, where they were just flat out taking people away. Quebec is more along the lines of, "Hey, you'll stop using the electricity."
Yeah, they just turn it off.
Just turn it off. We will turn off your electricity now. We will turn it back on later. It's a terrible French accent.
It is. It really is.
It's almost as bad as your Irish accent from yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I wonder why no one ever talks in the show chat room when we're actually on the air. Like, I always come in here and there's these conversations.
Listening with rapt attention, of course.
But
we're so captivating. We know they're there. We know they're there. Like, we can see you guys listening. That made no sense.
Yeah. Like the chatting doesn't usually start until like 7:00 in the afternoon. It's like as soon as we get off the air.
Yeah, because they're chilling out with us still then. You know?
Totally. I wonder, did you guys notice that they created a toxic user zone?
Yeah. So far, it only has one member. Guess who? Oh,
yeah. Already,
James
Witt's bar tab is over 9,000. Look.
He's over 9,000.
I made abstract. Oh, wow. There's a guy in there now. His name is James Witt's bar tab is over 9,000. You guys are awful to him. But it's funny. It is.
He deserves it.
Anyway, when we get back here, we're going to talk about Russia. But not the way that you think. You see, Putin tried to have somebody knocked off. And
that's exactly the way I would think we'd talk about Russia.
Let's just say the story only gets more interesting from there. We'll be back here in just a moment.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, May 30th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.45 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,301 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $31, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,537. Antiwar.com reports Iranian officials confirmed Tuesday that they have been backing a push by European nations, Britain, France, and Germany, to secure a ceasefire deal in Yemen. The goal is both a ceasefire and increased access to humanitarian aid. European officials say that negotiations on the ceasefire have progressed significantly, though there is yet no sign that the pro-Saudi forces are willing to consider a ceasefire. Previous ceasefires have been short-lived, with the Hadi government condemning any effort at a power-sharing deal. Iran's value in this effort is unclear. They have limited ties with the Shiite Houthi movement, but the Houthis have long embraced peace talks to begin with and would seemingly be trivial to get to the negotiating table anyhow. Rather, the suggestion is that the three European nations are trying to blunt U.S. allegations against Iran by showing that they can be brought into positive regional endeavors. The U.S. has embraced Saudi allegations that Iran is destabilizing Yemen, though these claims are broadly just the Saudis trying to retroactively justify how poorly their invasion of Yemen has gone.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today.
UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court refused to hear a challenge Tuesday to a controversial new Arkansas law that blocks medication-induced abortions. The case, Planned Parenthood of Arkansas and Eastern Oklahoma v. Jegley, appeared on the court's list of denied cases, meaning the case will not get a hearing before the court. The state law, passed 3 years ago, says any physician who gives, sells, dispenses, administers, or otherwise provides abortion-inducing drugs must have a contract with another physician who has authority to admit patients to a nearby hospital. In its appeal, Planned Parenthood said none of the doctors it asked was willing to enter into such a contract. The group said abortion doctors or physicians who associate with them risk being ostracized from their community and face harassment and violence towards themselves, their families, and their private practices. Planned Parenthood argued the law is medically unnecessary and allows Arkansas to be the only state to ban medication abortion, a method used by more than 2 million American women since 2000 and strongly preferred by many as it is less invasive. The Supreme Court order issued without comment paves the way for the law to take effect in July if no other legal challenges arise. In Arkansas, Planned Parenthood clinics in Little Rock and Fayetteville offer only medication abortions, which can be performed up until the 9th week of pregnancy. The state's only other clinic, also in Little Rock, performs surgical abortions and could continue doing so even after the law takes effect.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports Missouri Governor Eric Greitens on Tuesday said he was resigning, avoiding potential impeachment after he became embroiled in scandals tied to an extramarital affair and his political fundraising. Greitens called a press conference after an unfavorable ruling earlier in his computer tampering trial related to allegations he illegally obtained a donor list to aid his 2016 election campaign from a veterans charity he founded in 2007, according to local media. Greitens was previously charged with felony invasion of privacy in connection with an admitted extramarital affair in 2015 with a hairdresser before he was elected. He said he is innocent and called the relationship consensual. Prosecutors dropped the felony charge before the trial began, but have said they would refile the case. Greetens was accused of taking a photo of his lover in a state of undress without her consent and making it accessible by computer to use as retaliation should she divulge their relationship. He has denied threatening to blackmail her, and his attorneys noted the alleged photograph has never been produced. Greetens had previously called the charges against him part of a political witch hunt, and on Tuesday he complained of legal harassment with no end in sight. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
On May 22, 1992, beloved talk show host Johnny Carson ended his 30-year run of hosting The Tonight Show with a farewell episode that included special guests Saddam Hussein, KKK Grand Wizard Virgil Lee Griffin, and a musical performance by the Flag. On May 24, 1883, the Brooklyn Bridge opened, providing New Yorkers with a more efficient way of killing themselves and escaping their trash-ridden excrement cake city. The monument's historic opening was marked by hundreds of people jumping 275 feet to their deaths in order to avoid waking up every morning with the smell of horse filling their nostrils.
Before the Brooklyn Bridge, there were very few ways for New Yorkers to free themselves from the cesspool in which they lived. One method was to tie cinder blocks on their legs and walk into the Hudson River. But of course, the banks of the Hudson were so brimming with garbage and raw sewage that the putrid stench would drive back even the most desperate suicide seeker.
This is the Onion News Network.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Broadcasting from the Zencast studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And guess what? I got some news for you. We are going to be talking about Russia. But not the way you usually think, you know. We're not talking about Russian influence on election conspiracy theories or any of that stuff. No, we're talking about Russian conspiracy theories that turns out are true. Tom, you still here with us, bud?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Sucking it down over there. I hear you.
Sort of trying to power through, man. The allergies are in full swing.
Oh yeah, it is that time of year down there.
Mm-hmm.
See, there was a Russian journalist, and he's particularly critical of President Vladimir Putin. And well, he turned up alive after being dead.
The being dead part wasn't very surprising. I'm curious about the alive part, though.
Well, you see, he showed up at a press conference in the Ukraine today, but he was declared officially dead yesterday.
By whom, I wonder?
Well, the Associated Press reports that Arkady Babchenko attended the event in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev, where the head of the Ukrainian Security Service, Vasily Gritsak, revealed that the agency faked Babchenko's death in an effort to find the individuals who were trying to kill him. One person who was reportedly captured in the operation. Babchenko thanked everyone who mourned his supposed death, according to the news service, and authorities announced on Tuesday that Babchenko's wife discovered him with gunshot wounds at their apartment and that he died en route to a Kiev hospital. Police told the Moscow Times on Tuesday that Babchenko's work was likely the motive for the killing. Babchenko left Russia last year after he said that he received a slew of death threats for his reporting. He moved to Kiev, where he worked for a Crimean television station and produced produced coverage critical of Russia's military actions in Ukraine. Tatiana Felengauer was stabbed in the neck last year, but survived. Actually, several of Putin's critics in the press and in politics, well, they have a tendency to turn up dead. Little Hillary Clinton going on there in Russia. And just last year, an anti-Putin journalist was knifed. She survived an intruder attack at her television station. Wow. Now, I'm looking for the timeline here because I saw one earlier today. Here we go. It says, the story of a crusading expose the enemies will fuel Moscow's accusations. Let's see here. Murder, mourners gathered, journalists grasped and then applauded. Let's see, where is it at? Russia has sanctioned widely condemned over its invasion of Ukraine, used the news to flip the narrative, and cast Ukraine as an aggressor. Maria Zarankova, the spokeswoman for Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, quickly called the episode a masquerade conducted for propaganda purposes. Konstantin Kosachoyev,
Pot, meat, kettle.
Right? The chairman of the Russian Federation Council of Foreign Affairs Committee called it a provocation by the Ukrainian government, according to the Russian
pot, meat, kettle.
Right. Alec Loon, a journalist based in Russia, worried that the operation would bolster Moscow's characterization of Kiev as deceitful and hapless. Babchenko's staged murder is basically doing their job for them, Loon observed. Various journalists, rights organizations were incensed. The Committee to Protect Journalists called the operation extreme and asked for answers. Reporters Without Borders expressed its deepest indignation after discovering the manipulation of the Ukrainian secret services and said, "It's always very dangerous for a government to play with facts." Garry Kasparov, the Russian chess master turned anti-Putin activist, saw it differently. Speaking at the annual Oslo Freedom Forum, where hours before, still thinking Babchenko had died, an opera was performed in Babchenko's honor. Kasparov said the Ukrainian operation marked the first time that Putin's tools of fake news were being used against him. He described the staged murder as, quote, probably the most successful operation in the post-Soviet Union, and joked that people who are resurrected have track records of doing great things.
Ha ha ha, he means Jesus.
The security operation was elaborate. The Ukrainian officials even confirmed Babchenko's death to various media outlets, released photos of him lying face down in a pool of blood, and installed a memorial plaque in his honor on a wall of slain journalists in Kiev. That plaque was removed today.
I love that detail. They removed the memorial plaque now that they know he's not dead, just to let you guys know.
Not even Babchenko's wife appears to have been in on it. Special apologies to my wife, Olechka. There was no other option. I'm sorry. Babchenko said during Wednesday's press conference, the operation was under preparation for 2 months. Despite the criticism, Ukrainian police and government officials declared the operation was successful. Vasily Gritsak, the head of the Ukrainian Security Service, told reporters on Wednesday that the investigation had been launched after Babchenko began receiving death threats. It's not clear what sparked them, but he fled Russia in 2016 after learning that the Kremlin was angry at him for saying in a Facebook post that he did not mourn the victims of a Russian Defense Ministry plane crash that year, according to Haaretz. By Wednesday, officials had detained one suspect, a former fighter based in eastern Ukraine, who was allegedly paid $30,000 $100,000 by Russian authorities to kill Babchenko. It's still not clear how authorities in staging Babchenko's death were allegedly able to confirm Russia's involvement in the murder plot, but the Ukrainian president Petro Poroshenko congratulated the authorities on a brilliant operation and ordered around-the-clock security for Babchenko and his family. Ukrainian Prosecutor General Yuri Lutsenko, meanwhile, used the staged killing as an opportunity to attack Ukrainian politicians who had accused the police of failing to prevent Babchenko's death. So, now, this isn't the first time we've seen stuff like this. Or am I missing something?
Fill me in. Because...
Well, this reminds me of when ISIS workers, not ISIS, Al-Qaeda operatives were caught in Iran and ended up spilling some of the beans, as it were. So what will happen, and this is my prediction because this is what the American government did with Iran, deny. Oh yeah, and they're going to deny. And the pro-nationalist, pro-Putin people are just going to take it at him and their government at his word, and that's it. Like, nothing really is going to change because of this, because nothing really changed with America's relationship with Iran after they caught.
Except Homeboy gets...
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, "If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid." This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card, and the sign-up bonus, enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Join Daryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he brings you news, views, and opinions while promoting the ideas of peaceful interaction.
The FBI or CIA or NSA or any other government agency could also go to the FISA court and say that we want information on anyone associated with anyone who is under investigation by the FBI. If they could somehow connect you, my listener, to me, then you could possibly be subject to investigation by the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, or any other government agency. Not because I directly am under investigation that I am aware of, but as a donor to antiwar.com and knowing that they have been investigated by the FBI, then it's very possible.
Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
LRN.FM. We are broadcasting live from the Zencash studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And, well, we were talking about this, and the perspectives are different. People who like Putin are like, oh, I faked his death to make them look bad. And people who don't like Putin are like, oh, he was really going to kill this guy, and they had to do this so that they could catch the government agents that were going to kill him. So, I mean, there's... And it's kind of split down the lines that you would expect it to be. But now moving right along, I've got something that might just disturb you a little bit. Turns out that the FBI might be trying to rebolster its war on cryptography. It says if you were to take law enforcement at its word, well, you'd believe that the encryption technique that secures our data actually ends up serving criminals who would do us harm. For the past few years, the FBI and other authorities have revived their war on cryptography because they say it prevents them from accessing devices that they need to bring killers and terrorists to justice. FBI Director Christopher Wray has been fond of claiming that the Bureau was locked out of 7,775 devices last year. In January, he argued that being able to access nearly 7,800 devices in a single year is a major public safety issue. Turns out that the FBI wildly inflated those figures. According to the Washington Post,
perish the thought.
The Bureau still doesn't know the exact number of devices that have apparently been so central in the miscarriage of justice. If previous numbers are to be believed, which are hovered somewhere around 700 to 800 devices, the true number is 7,000 to 8,000 devices. The true number is actually closer to 1,000. The FBI told the Post that programming errors were responsible for the overcounting, since they were apparently pulling the numbers out of their, three separate databases. But that excuse seems awfully convenient given the agency's recent antagonism towards security technology. Well, that and their proclivity to pull things straight out of... never mind. Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, issued a scathing letter to the FBI in response to their admission of error, chiding that because the FBI is struggling with basic arithmetic, it should, quote, not be in the business of dictating the design of advanced cryptographic algorithms. He pointedly pointed out that such a major miscalculation could either be the product of sloppy work or, well, something more nefarious, pushing a legislative agenda. Could this, quote, accidental miscounting of over 6,700 extra phones have been a purposeful ploy to undermine strong encryption? A review of the FBI's recent public and behind-the-scenes activities certainly makes it look that way. The agency's been engaged in an all-out public war on encryption, using emotional rhetoric to push the conversation and to push for access into our devices that they have long sought. Encryption technologies have been a chief bugaboo of America's top feds for about as long as these security technologies have been available to the public. You see, which is to say, for you and me, it's the entire time that we've been on the internet. In the 90s, authorities argued that strong encryption techniques were a kind of munition and tried to prevent computer scientists from deploying security measures at all. Thankfully, the computer scientists won the previous battles over public key encryption. But the question of device encryption has taken on a new political urgency following the high-profile attacks in San Bernardino in December of 2015 with the so-called going dark problem. Authorities argue that measures that keep our phones secure can prevent them from accessing critical data in an investigation that, once they finally got into that phone, turned out went nowhere. Thus, they want technology companies to build special government access into our phones called backdoors. It's easy to sympathize with the investigators, if you don't care about rights, that is, who work to bring criminals to justice. But unfortunately, with the San Bernardino incident, it looks like the FBI leadership was more motivated by a general antipathy to encryption than a specific need to access particular data. Consider the specifics of the case. Authorities could have discreetly and respectfully approached engineers for solutions to access suspected terrorist Syed Rizwan Farouk's face-locked iPhone. After all, the FBI was eventually able to access the phone through a technical tool purchased by a private vendor. No across-the-board security limiting technology changes needed. You see, that's not what the FBI did. Instead, it engaged in a public relations blitz against Apple to argue that government operatives needed a backdoor into every single phone so that they could access the data at their leisure. The feds pushed this issue all the way through the courts, literally attempting to litigate a backdoor, until it eventually turned tail when it was able to access the data without it. Wow. So, yeah, the people who say, well, we got to have access to your phone. You have to have, murderers, and what about the children? It's for your safety. They have a tool that they bought from a private vendor. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say they went to a prison. They found a guy that used to deal in hacked phones and asked him who helped him get into iPhones that were stolen. And he sent him to a guy he knows, and they got it from him. Not from an up-and-up good guy kind of third party. Especially when you usually can tell when the government's dealing with less than favorable characters because they use terms like received from a third party rather than where the hell they actually got it. Anyway, when we get back, we're going to continue on with this story about the FBI trying to revamp its war against your privacy when we get back in just a moment here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Privacy is our imagination.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the last half of this last hour of our live drive home broadcast of the Call to Freedom. here on LRN.FM. We've been talking about the fact that if you think you've got privacy in the United States, well, that's all in your imagination. Because the FBI is constantly waging a war on your privacy. Well, what little bit of it you have left, at least. And you know what? It turns out that they're being fairly dishonest in that effort.
Perish the thought.
Right. Here it says an Inspector General's report from March finds that the FBI, when they were waging that campaign back in 2015 about cell phones, well, they may not have actually been interested in researching all the possible solutions. And they delayed seeking and obtaining vendor assistance that ultimately proved fruitful. One Bureau employee told IG that the San Bernardino case was viewed as a poster child for the Going Dark crusade. As Senator Wyden's letter points out, the report suggests that the FBI was more interested in establishing a powerful legal precedent than gaining access to that particular iPhone. Other evidence corroborates the theory that the intelligence community used Apple as a convenient foil to promote their crusade against encryption as well. In August of 2015, a top lawyer for the U.S. intelligence urged authorities to, quote, wait for a terrorist attack or criminal event where strong encryption can be shown to have hindered law enforcement, end quote.
Damn, that's horrifying.
Horrifyingly incriminating as well.
But they're going to keep us safe. Well, no, they're just waiting for you to be in mortal peril so they can use it to increase their own power over you.
Officials could then take advantage of the tragedy to pull on America's heartstrings, put pressure on legislators, and finally mandate the backdoors for which they've long salivated. Just a few months later, San Bernardino presented... Huh?
The backdoors for which they've long salivated?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Phrasing! Just a few months later, San Bernardino presented a perfect opportunity. Thankfully, there's not been another San Bernardino that authorities could exploit to promote their political ends. Perhaps this is why the FBI turned to numbers instead. Without a newsworthy event to point at, the FBI director may have found the sky-high numbers of reported locked phones to be a convenient rhetorical fallback. But even the lower figure deserves our scrutiny. The mere presence of a locked device in some investigation on its own is, well, not very compelling. Perhaps there's no relevant information on the device. Maybe the device belonged to someone, to some suspect who was later cleared. And how many devices are associated with a single case? The lower figure that the FBI provided likely contains many such instances. What we need to know is how many investigations were significantly hindered because authorities could not access specific data on a specific device. It's relatively rare for people to solely store data on their phone. Given the rise of cloud computing, much inference can be gleaned from metadata, which is often unencrypted, and perhaps the evidence on any particular device is redundant with other evidence. Wyden demanded answers to these and related questions in his blistering rebuke of the FBI. And until we have more information of how many cases fall into this narrower and relevant bucket, we should take the FBI's figure with a grain of salt or possibly a gram of coke, whichever you happen to have handy. The FBI should not have inflated the number of devices that they say they can't access. This egregious error would be especially contemptible if it was a naked lie in the pursuit of policy goals. But even if those figures were true, it wouldn't really change the going dark debate. Undermining encryption makes us all less secure, no matter what the justification for doing so. The FBI's recent miscalculations, behind-the-scenes antagonism towards security technologies, suggests that the agency is, unfortunately, far from internalizing these truths. So, yeah, we have lots and lots of people that aren't happy because the feds are lying their asses off. I mean, it's pretty clear at this point that the feds have absolutely no shame whatsoever, not even the slightest glimmer of it, when it comes to anything. Pick an issue, Tom, that you think you've seen the state show some sort of shame.
You know what? Let's go big or go home. Hiroshima. They've shown some shame over Hiroshima, haven't they?
No, not really.
Yeah, you're right.
What's the word? The narrative is and has always been, even though we now know that Japan was ready to give up, we had to do it. We had to.
Had to.
Did we ever issue an apology for Hiroshima?
We finally did, I think. Obama finally did it.
Oh, was
and
that?
All the Republicans went berserk. He's apologizing for America. Well, we kind of killed a lot of civilians unnecessarily. That was kind of bad. Don't apologize for America.
I don't know. Are you sure?
I remember it because I remember the right going completely insane when he did it.
This says here, Obama will not apologize for Hiroshima attack. He tells Japanese TV.
Maybe he said he was going to, and then the right went completely nuts, and then he backed off like the ninny that he was and is.
Every leader makes difficult decisions, particularly during war, so he will not be apologizing.
Maybe it was so okay. Well, we've established no shame there for that one.
Yep. According to the LA Times, they don't want him to apologize. According to Vox.com, they do.
So even the Japanese government doesn't have shame about it. Well, no, and they're the ones who got hit.
According to Vox.com, Japanese people in Hiroshima do want apologies, but according to the LA Times, they don't.
The Japanese government probably doesn't want apologies. Because if we had to apologize to them for Hiroshima, they might have to apologize to Korea for the comfort women.
No. No. It says here that Japan might have to. Japan's Vice Foreign Minister, Mitoji Yabunaka, reportedly told U.S. Ambassador John Roos that President Obama visiting Hiroshima to apologize for the atomic bomb during World War II is a non-starter because it will put Obama apologizing, according to Michael Kuchek, an advisor and professor at Temple University's Japan campus. It would put pressure on the rape of Nanking.
Mm-hmm. So they'd have to apologize to China.
Chinese, Malaysia, and Singapore. Basically, it turns out that Japan has a lot to apologize for as well, and they don't want to be called on it. So they're just going to let us off the hook on our stupid.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे.
This song goes out to Jerry Garcia and Bob Marley. All my friends are stoners, lighting up all of the time. Everybody has a mason jar. Can you guess what I put in mine? We all go to Jamaica.
Welcome back to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Final segment of this Wednesday afternoon broadcast. Now, I won't be here tomorrow. It'll be Tom and Aria and Chelsea without me. I will be at Wheelock Park at the Horseshoe Pavilion hosting what was just covered by New Hampshire's NPR, the first annual Keene Ramadan Iftar in the park. It won't be in the park next year. It'll be somewhere, but it won't be in the park. But we'll be serving free food to local leaders, community leaders, political leaders, charity leaders, activists, all kinds of folks. And it's going to be a really good time. I'll be speaking around 7:30. and then we'll all eat around 8 o'clock. So anyway,
and this is how I'm finding out that I'm hosting the show tomorrow.
Yeah,
woo! Always a party around here.
I can't believe you guys didn't know already, because I've been talking about this the thing in the Ramadan in the Park thing for like 2 weeks. But you've not been on the show very much the last 2 weeks, though, have you? Because you've had all this stuff with the kids. Yeah, you've not really been here.
Been that end of school, end of homeschool year kind of stuff for us,
Well, with it being the last segment, everybody knows it's time for our cannabis news, and as usual, we're coming from Leafly. After reading this, I'm finding this particular Leafly author far more left-leaning than some of the others I've had the opportunity to write. The title, though, is The Jeff Sessions Cannabis Crackdown Has Arrived, and it's awesome. Well, I don't know about awesome, but unintentionally hilarious, I think, might be a better term. This isn't the cannabis crackdown that Jeff Sessions envisioned back in the early days of 2017, when the newly ensconced Attorney General had the cannabis industry popping Xanax and praying twice on Sundays. Sessions loved to talk smack about legal marijuana. Good people don't smoke marijuana, he once declared. We have too much tolerance for drug use, he told an audience of cops last year. We need to say, as Nancy Reagan said, just say no. There's no excuse for this. It's not recreational. Lives are at stake, and we're not going to worry about being fashionable. With Obama gone, he assured us, there's a new sheriff in town, and things would change. No more hippies smoking doobies in church. The rule of law was returning to America. Well,
the bad part is you can't tell whether that was a quote or not.
Well, here we are, about 18 months later, and the Department of Justice is finally laying the wood to the marijuana growers. They're cracking down hard. They're throwing people in jail. And the legal, regulated cannabis industry and the states themselves are actually benefiting. You see, last month in California, the U.S. for the Eastern District of California oversaw one of the largest marijuana busts in recent history. On April 3rd and 4th, hundreds of federal and local law enforcement raided 74 houses in the Sacramento region. They were breaking up a network of illegal growers financed by China. Not legal, illegal. So the federal government enforced the state's regulations for them at their own cost. Talk about a winner. Last week in Washington state, the U.S. attorney for Western Washington arrested several illegal, unlicensed cannabis growers, again, financed through suspicious money transfers from China. Again, the federal government busting illegal, unlicensed cannabis growers financed by foreign governments so that state governments don't have to worry about wasting their resources doing so. Yesterday in Sacramento, federal authorities and state authorities announced a joint effort to target illegal cannabis grows worth $2.5 million in federal money backing the effort. Basically, the U.S. Department of Justice is enforcing the legalization rules and regulations established in the 9 legal cannabis states. Feds are basically shoring up the industry and arresting the people who violate the state regulations and laws, thereby protecting the financial investment and hard work put in by the entrepreneurs who do obey their slave masters. They're also protecting the 150,000 jobs supported by the legal cannabis industry. McGregor Scott, a U.S. attorney for Inland California, basically from Bakersfield, north to the Oregon border, addressed the reality of the situation at a press conference announcing the $2.5 million project yesterday. The reality of the situation is that there's so much black market marijuana in California, we could use all of our resources going after just the black market and never get there. By the way, that's because California's marijuana taxes are ridiculous. So far, right now, our priorities are to focus on what have been historically our federal law enforcement priorities: interstate trafficking, organized crime, and the use of federal public lands. That's not a bitter holdout policy from the Obama appointee. McGregor Scott was vetted by Jeff Sessions and appointed last year by Donald Trump. So here we are. We've got, Jeff Sessions with his, I had a war on legal marijuana. Good people don't smoke. Nope. And what we end up with is the little bit of money that the federal government does give for the enforcement of marijuana laws ends up going to enforce the state's legal marijuana statutes by breaking up black market grow rings that are run out of foreign countries. Tell me how this is winning on the for Jeff Sessions.
He's catching somebody with pot.
Yeah, but he specifically said he was going to break up the legal grow operations and the legal marijuana industries in all these states. And what ends up happening is the U.S. prosecutors, the federal prosecutors in these states, end up using the federal money to enforce the state regulations.
Well,
so all they're really doing is saving California taxpayers money to enforce those regulations. I'm not seeing a good argument for why California shouldn't lower their cannabis taxes.
You asked what the benefit is to Jeff Sessions, and I think you hinted at it just a little bit a minute ago. It's making some of these outfits that don't mind the fact that the industry is regulated out the wazoo at the state level stay off his back for even though he is still using massive federal resources to arrest people for selling and smoking a plant.
Well, see,
so he gets to moralize and not have the left riding him as hard as it should be.
Well, one of the reasons why I've come to the conclusion that the author, this particular Leafly author, is fairly left-leaning. This is his blue sky session, the best possible use of federal agents. You use them to roll heavy on Mexican cartel grows that poison our national forest. And then we use them to protect the investments made by the legal state licensed cannabis industry. What if the Justice Department released its pent-up energy around marijuana by arresting a bunch of bad actors in legal states? Basically, why don't we use the federal government to bust up our only real competition, the black market? And that's where you lose me. You want to advocate that California lower their cannabis taxes so that the black market isn't a viable option anymore? That's fine. But if California is not going to do that, I don't see there being any reason why a Tennessee taxpayer should be forced to pay to break up black market grow operations in California or Oregon or Washington, or that even taxpayers in those states should have to pay for it. But you literally just heard state advocates of legalized cannabis say, let's use the federal government's fist to put our only major competition out of business. I'm sorry, guys, over at Leafly. Bruce, you totally lost me there. Jeff Sessions, whole idea falling apart in his face, loving it. You wanted to use the federal government to stamp on your competition, you can keep that. We'll be back tomorrow. Free Talk Live is coming up next.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, May 30th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.45 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,301 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $31, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,537. Antiwar.com reports Iranian officials confirmed Tuesday that they have been backing a push by European nations, Britain, France, and Germany, to secure a ceasefire deal in Yemen. The goal is both a ceasefire and increased access to humanitarian aid. European officials say that negotiations on the ceasefire have progressed significantly, though there is yet no sign that the pro-Saudi forces are willing to consider a ceasefire. Previous ceasefires have been short-lived, with the Hadi government condemning any effort at a power-sharing deal. Iran's value in this effort is unclear. They have limited ties with the Shiite Houthi movement, but the Houthis have long embraced peace talks to begin with and would seemingly be trivial to get to the negotiating table anyhow. Rather, the suggestion is that the 3 European nations are trying to blunt U.S. allegations against Iran by showing that they can be brought into positive regional endeavors. The U.S. has embraced Saudi allegations that Iran is destabilizing Yemen, though these claims are broadly just the Saudis trying to retroactively justify how poorly their invasion of Yemen has